Dico, questi due coglioni l'ho anche restati, sono morti tutti e due.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Te arrivo quando fai serie.
Ah, fanculo. Ma senti quanto mi si sentiva, stavo andando tutto acquattato. Ma come fa a vincere questo? Sto uno contro uno. Dai, amico, vinci.
Che ore so?
Che ore sono?
7 meno 10. Lo devi andare, no?
Ma tu va, no, si usa la maschera, questo è scemo, Dio caro.
Sto a mettere orario sul gioco, ma te. Non lo stai guardando.
Ah, serve l'orario preciso?
Non te scarso, il più scarso di tutti.
Mezzo strano, sì. Ed
Oh
eccoci
my
qui.
god.
Oddio, un gioco. Oddio! Vi consiglio di scaricarvelo, raga.
This is the story
Mi
of a
guardo
man.
e
Questa è
vorresti
la storia
stare
di un
con sta
uomo
visione.
di nome Stanley.
Stanley worked for a
Stanley
company in a
lavorava
big
per
building
un'azienda in
where
un
he
grande
was
edificio ed era
employee
l'impiegato numero
number
427.
Employee number
Il lavoro dell'impiegato
427's
numero
job was
427 era
simple.
semplice.
He sat at his desk in
Studiando nella
room
schiena.
427 and he pushed buttons on a
Mi va
keyboard.
quanto lagga.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Che è successo?
Something that would forever change Stanley.
No.
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Greve.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Questo gioco posso farlo solo da fatto, come una pigna. Ok. Ah, io devo seguire tutti gli ordini che mi dice? No, dai.
Adesso devi tocca andare a scoprire che è successo perché non ci sta nessuno.
Se pigio X mi fai suonare la tastiera. Se va sul computer. Oh, F1. F1.
Sembra sta giocando la tastiera.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Cristo, maiale!
Aspetta.
Casca un pacco.
Porca
Stanley
puttana.
went
No,
around touching
corri,
every
tu,
little
vieni,
thing in
vieni,
the
aspetta.
office, but it didn't make a single
C'ho
difference,
ancora aperto?
nor
Vedi?
advance
sì,
the
sta.
story.
Vedi che mi ha detto?
Stanley.
Ha detto Stanley girava per tutto l'ufficio toccando tutto quanto, ma non ha capito che non avrà differenza sull'andamento della storia.
Allora,
Devi andare in sala
allora,
riunione.
Mi sta dicendo a fare
io sono
quello.
andato
Qua.
dritto,
When
sembrava
Stanley
proprio la
came to
strada
a set of
giusta,
two open
sembrava proprio la
doors,
strada
he
giusta, che
entered
non
the
è successo
door on his
questo.
left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it.
Sorrende per
Perhaps he
scherzo.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just
Allora
to admire
sempre
it.
se mette grosso umano proprio pure un po'.
Yes, truly a room
Ascolta.
worth admiring. It had really
Se può
been worth the
ricaricare
detour after all, just to spend a few
se
moments
no,
here
se
in this
no
immaculate,
magari non si fa
beautifully
niente.
constructed room.
Aspetta,
Come si
aspetta,
attiva la
aspetta.
modalità,
Drinking it
la
all.
modalità
But eager to get back to
dei
business,
foto?
Stanley took the first
Non lo
open
so,
door
non
on
lo
his
so.
left.
Vedi, adesso
Io-
lui mi dice di prendere prima a
Magari non
sinistra,
c'è.
io invece no, vado
No,
dritto.
no,
Io.
c'è sicuro.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Se si fa un selfie di me, fa cappottare.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. I'm
Un
not.
selfie così,
I
capito?
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be
No.
difficult.
Cioè, questa è la ragione,
But the
dice.
fact is that the story has
No,
been
di
about
che
mi
nothing
vede
but
un po'.
you all this time. There's
Frate,
someone you've been
prova a
neglecting,
andare giù,
Stan.
te lanci
Someone you've
e
forgotten.
dal massimo arriva.
Please, stop trying to make
Ah,
every
ma che
decision by
è
yourself.
come
I'm
è
not asking for
Spider-Man
me,
sta macchina.
I'm asking for her.
Ok,
business,
vabbè.
Stanley. Your
Oh,
chance to redeem
dai,
yourself,
manco male.
to put your work
No,
aside,
aspetta,
to let her back into your life.
ma
Piano piano.
incredibile,
She's been
incredibile
waiting.
come
Guarda come si tiene.
That's so, Stanley. You need to be
sospensioni.
the one to do this, to reach out to her.
Olè, via.
You can truly
Come adesso
place
non
your
è niente.
faith
A
in
posto,
another.
andiamo al mare.
Let-
Andiamo al mare, via.
you can't.
Non è
Did you
successo
just
niente.
unplug the phone? Now, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually
Fammi vedere
chose incorrectly.
Stanley come
I
sta.
didn't even know that was
Ah,
possible.
frate, Stanley si chiappa tutto, te lo dico io. So andare contro il narratore, frate. È assurdo sto gioco, raga, mezzo matto.
Come sta andando contro il narratore?
Aspetta, no, frate, te lo giuro, dopo, dopo l'arfo al contrario.
Picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
No, vabbè.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation?
Sta
Well, I won't
massacrando.
have that kind of risk on
Aspetta,
my
aspetta.
watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
No, frate, ma è geniale.
Adesso io, tu ti dici di guardarlo, no? Io adesso lo schippo, non si può skippare?
No, 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 non fa male.
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Ah, fuori di testa.
Aspetta che...
Excellent. Making choices
Ah,
on a regular basis is
no, io devo fare...
decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you
What the
make
shit
more
I do?
than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Vai.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on
Ah, sta
good
buggando il
decision making,
sistema.
we're going to
No,
revisit a
pazzesco.
choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Vuoi
Aspetta,
subito...
vuoi sentire meglio? Ti vuoi attraverso questa porta.
Tu da frente, sempre contro il narratore.
Oh, trofeo guadagnato.
Che trofeo guadagniamo?
No, davvero abbiamo disabilitato. Premo per aver poi premo per aver ottenuto un trofeo per la prima volta. No, 2 trofei così.
Bello. E mo ti fa fare una scelta che prima non hai fatto.
Ah, mi sta portando indietro.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ah, frate, è fuori di testa sta a fare.
Allucinante,
Io...
allucinante, ma te l'ho detto, ma che gioco l'ho trovato?
Ah, frate, vedrò tu.
Ma che devi fare? Più o meno.
Praticamente, da quello che ho capito, però,
Scusa, eh.
tu sei sto Stanley che sei un personaggio che sta sempre dentro all'ufficio e fa sempre lo stesso lavoro, segue sempre gli stessi
Mhm.
ordini, però lui è felice, tipo un po' come su Lego Movie lì all'inizio.
Sì.
E poi a un certo punto però scompaiono tutti quel giorno, non ci stanno nessuno, ti dice quello che devi fare e tu devi capire, quindi inizi e c'è sta il narratore che ti dice ok, adesso Stanley deve andare in sala riunioni,
Mhm.
così, e però visto che lui può o
Cioè, poi
assegna quello
prendi...
che dice
Esatto, il
Almost
narratore.
there.
il
You'll take the
narratore
door on
oppure
the
fa il
left,
contrario. Noi
back
abbiamo
to the
fatto,
correct
cioè lui ha
ending.
fatto il
The story will
contrario
have
e quindi il
resolution once
narratore ha
again,
detto,
and
ma
you'll
dico,
be
ah, ho
home
capito,
free
ma
in
tu
the
allora non
real
sei Stanley, tu
world.
sei una persona reale. E ha
No,
incominciato, ti
bellissimo.
giuro, t'ha fatto, no, sei pericoloso. Gli ha fatto vedere un video esplicativo dove la scelta giusta e la scelta sbagliata perché fa tutte le scelte sbagliate. Ha fatto bellissimo.
Tipo la giù il cervello, tu. Mezzo mistico.
Contra- Hai fatto il contraddittorio narrativo, capito? Perché sto gioco tu dovevi fare un'altra roba, invece tu.
Now remember,
Infatti tocca
all you need to
riportare,
do is
ti
behave
devi riportare
exactly as
fuori.
Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Io
When
un mese di
Stanley
dopo.
came to a set of 2
Aspetta,
open
aspetta.
doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
No, prima di qua.
Vedete che mi dici. Ah, ok. Adesso per forza andate là.
Perché?
È perché non mi ripete niente, capito? Se ne rincomincia. Cioè perché di qua ci sta di nuovo sta cosa. Sto buggato. Tutto buggato. 445.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to put the game down. I have to. I have to.
Ah, ma tu.
No, non ci credo.
Sì. Tutto così Coco? Fare di testa.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire
Spera che
game
la
is
sto chiudendo.
destroyed. It was the
No,
only
ha
thing in the
distrutto il
world that was
gioco,
mine,
no?
and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
Ah, zero fuori
I'm
fa.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set
E
of two
serve a
open
destra.
doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly,
No,
hurry
fa quello che abbiamo fatto adesso.
Aspetta.
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Per forza, proprio.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Ok.
Niente.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing
Certo, magari
responsibly and
può essere,
always
se è
putting the
malatissimo
story
di quello
first.
fai,
I'm
devi
quite sure
Allora,
you'll be up
sbloccare
to
un
the
trofeo,
task.
ci devi
vuol
fare
Just
dire
10
follow
che,
my lead
volte.
and you'll be
vuol dire che
fine.
devo
All
chiappare
right.
quelle giuste e quelle sbagliate
When
nel momento
Stanley came
giusto.
to a set of two open
Non lo so.
doors, he entered the
È
No,
door
vabbè,
on
è
impossibile
his
sicuro che
normale,
mi
qua
left.
dici di
non
fare.
fa... Qua adesso ti fa, se non c'è magari il gioco, non so. La prossima volta se sbagli, cioè se sbagli, se prendi
Yet there
quella
was not a
sbagliata
single
magari ti fa
person here
un'altra
either. Feeling a
animazione,
wave
altre
of
cose.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he
Sì.
saw the door with a voice receiver next
Tacchino ho
to it.
mangiato.
Surely behind this door lay
Ho
all
visto che
the
c'è
answers
rimasto.
to his questions. And beyond all
Va bene.
probability, he knew the
Sì.
passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last
Ciao.
week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
511. One five.
Squalo
Stanley
115,
spoke
cos'era?
the code.
Squalo
Squa-
notturno.
115.
Squalo notturno
He spoke it into the
115.
receiver, right there on the wall.
Squalo notturno 155. No, 115.
115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't
Ma
mishear me,
lui ti
did you?
ascolta dal
Please speak the
joystick che
code
dici?
into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Dillo, te prego.
E se non dico?
Vai, dillo, dillo.
Squalo notturno.
Son, you're not gonna do it? But you know
Niente, non
what?
l'hai detto.
It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for
Te l'hai
this
fatto
one single
rincazzare.
thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story
no,
seriously.
no.
If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Oh.
he entered the door on his left.
Ah, mi fa vedere come devo fare.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Ma che cazzo senti? Ho tiltato.
Everything all right?
Ho tiltato il gioco. Ho già finito il gioco, incredibile.
Need you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
Ma cacciato dal gioco.
Fine, they're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together.
Guarda, possiamo collaborare. Mettere qualunque cosa tu faccia.
Fuori di testa. Adesso vedi i trofei di staffare.
This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening
No.
to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Tu non puoi proprio muovere. Ok, finito. Ok, hai fatto un
All
finale.
of his co-workers were gone.
Ah,
What could it
ok.
mean?
Ma se adesso tipo io sbaglio la prima volta e dopo...
Perhaps he had
Non lo
simply
so,
missed a
non
memo.
lo so, non c'ho proprio idea, può succedere qualunque cosa. Poi non ho visto manco l'inizio quando è incominciato ad andare contro il narratore, quindi...
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way
Ah,
to the
okay.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
Guarda.
just to admire it.
Dice, adesso resta qua.
This room. What a beautiful room.
Prima tipo sua corsa mi ha detto ecco però ho preso...
Nel senso,
E prima io...
Thank
Adesso
goodness Stanley
dice...
had taken this detour.
Ha fatto
On his
6
way
senza
to the
andare verso...
meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Tipo prima ero chiappato subito veloce, mi fa... preso dalla fretta, tipo...
Yes.
Ecco, vedo.
Really
Ora se
was
tipo
a
rimango di
fascinating
qui...
room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs as objects. Really was it? At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bore and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible this is why
ci posso
everyone
fare
left.
Incredibile, frate. E che poi che ti dice ogni volta ti dice qualcosa di diverso per forza.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. After some time had passed
Non ci
and
posso
there was
credere.
more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Cioè basta, non ti dirò più niente.
Basta. Eh sì, sto aspettando 3 frasi. Tecnicamente.
Giusto, se non finiva mai.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room. The first open door on his left to get back to business.
Dai,
Allora fa così, andiamo avanti e poi spiego quella sbagliata.
Walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
Qua c'eri stato prima?
No.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, From here, it's left. Oh no, it's to the right. My mistake.
No, vabbè.
E se andavo
Oh,
sulla sinistra?
no, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Io.
Non lo sa il narratore che
Right,
giustamente.
left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Stanley, close your eyes.
Spoiler, chiudi gli occhi.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Cioè adesso, sì, e adesso io la rifaccio.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
Cioè mi
he
sono
do?
spoilerato il finale
Stanley decided to
praticamente.
go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Se adesso
he
io faccio la
had
storia
No.
vera mi porta a quello.
No, secondo me là ho detto spoiler perché ci stavano tutti i schermi con cose, ma non c'erano un vero. Non lo so.
No,
Lo scopriremo solo finendo il gioco,
I
frate.
swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely
Tu
fresh.
dici che ti
Aspetta.
riportavi il finale?
Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
No, vabbè, pazzesco.
Fuori di testa.
Ma quanto costa sto gioco?
0, non lo so, io ce l'ho scaricato, pensavo il plus.
Vediamo un po'.
Ma frate, c'è tipo 300.000 finale. Ah, siete stato
Sono
pagato
22 euro.
22 euro.
Un po' troppo.
Si per.
I'll say it. This is
Però
the worst
veramente
adventure I've
carino,
ever
eh.
been on. I can promise you there definitely
Bello, bello.
was a story here before.
Però.
Do we need to restart the game again?
Guarda,
I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress. by
c'è tutto il
starting over
labirinto
and
che è
over
loop.
again. But it's
Ti
gotta be
porta sempre
better
alla
than this.
stanza. E si dice,
Okay, let's give it a shot.
ah,
Why
qui c'è
not?
la storia. Proviamo a riloggare.
All of his
Adesso.
co-workers were gone.
Ah,
What
ok.
did it mean?
Oddio, che
Stanley
hit,
decided
Dio.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Che quindi hai ritrovato la storia.
Okay, yep.
No,
Hardly
incredibile.
remember what's wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction
E fare
and see if
capoccio.
we missed anything?
Sì.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Aspetta. Sto impicciato. Ok.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Cazzo siamo
Do you
finiti.
remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be
Ma
doing,
secondo te sì,
how
guarda,
about
esatto.
this?
Aspetta,
You
facciamo così.
win!
No, no.
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all.
Cazzo è sto
We
gioco?
both know you didn't put in any actual work
Ah,
for that
questo
win.
no.
Some people win fair and square, and this
Hanno
was not one
fatto
of those
dentro
situations.
cioè, tutti i fatti,
Okay.
trip
I'm a little
pazzesco.
weirded out
E
by
hanno
whatever
creato un
this
gioco
place is.
incredibile.
I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Il narratore è bravissimo.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable
Oddio,
Adventure
ma
Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
ma come ti va?
No, ma si è bloccato.
Tu che faresti?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Si è rotto tutto. L'abbiamo usato probabilmente.
You know what,
Immaginavo.
Stanley? I
Sto
thought
gioco invece sta
the
scapacciando,
adventure
frate.
line, what's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why
Sì.
can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, Will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
Fare
the
di
truth was
capoccia,
that, of
guarda.
course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
Non siamo già
Was
assolti.
Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Fare di capoccia.